Hey Tulsa, this is LA with Town Talk. Suge is not with me today, but as usual, I'm going to continue to move forward. Today was supposed to be the kickoff of Town Talk Summerfest in the Park. However, it is going to be delayed. I would like to be able to tell you the delay will be just until next week, but until I really see some things in place that I need in place, I can simply say it will happen this summer. So anyway, moving forward, always as usual, there's a lot to talk about. I like to do Roundtable Fridays on is because it gives me an opportunity to just kind of spread out, do a lot of different topics. So first thing I want to concentrate on before what we're talking about today is we're doing Juneteenth. It started yesterday. I did make it to the comedy show, which I'll talk about a little bit. Also, want to kind of revisit some things earlier in the week for our teenagers. Want to kind of update them on the young lady, unfortunately, who talked her boyfriend into suicide. Want to go back over and cover that. And want to talk about what's going on Capitol Hill. This is my beautiful daughter. She's with me, and as you guys can see, I'm on the move, but can't let that stop me. So anyway, as usual, I always go into the throne room. If you guys give me a chance, I'm going to have my daughter kind of read that for me today, because as you can see, I'm in movement right now. And as always, I like to thank everybody for tuning in with Town Talk. We'll be ready for that in just a little bit, because it's always important to make sure that, we give God honor first before we move forward. It helps my day, and I hope and pray that there's someone else out there that it's supporting, because there's a lot going on. Did you get it up for me, Allie?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to get my daughter to read it. You won't be able to see her. I hope you can hear it.
Do you want me to just hold it?
Yeah, can you go ahead?
No, I mean hold the camera.
Oh, yeah, she's done well. I don't know if I can drive and do that.
What I said me was what I said.
Do what?
Me hold it.
Okay.
Okay. Always on his mind. Have you ever had difficulty receiving from God because you thought God has better things on his mind, or this isn't important to him? It may be tempting to let your mind wander in that direction, but the truth is nothing is more important to God than you are. Every detail of your life matters to him. Scriptures tell us that he even counts the very hairs on your head. He bottles your tears and holds them as precious. You are important to him, and nothing that concerns you is too big or too small for God. Today, if you've had those discouraging thoughts come to mind, replace them by declaring the truth of God's word. Declare, God's thoughts are precious toward me. I'm always on God's mind. He loves me, and I matter to him. As you begin to replace the negative thoughts with the truth, your life will begin to change. You will see a transformation in your thinking. You'll feel his love like you've never felt it before. You will know him in ways you've never known him before, and you'll experience his goodness and grace all the days of your life.
Wow. Guys, that is just so amazing. I'm going to go ahead and do a prayer right now. And one thing before I pray, that I just want to encourage everybody out there about how important it is for us to, in our day-to-day lives, for ourselves first, really focus on direction. Direction is just so important in our lives. And what I mean by that is, when you are purposeful going in a direction and there's something that you want to do, I know that I'm learning one vital part, and that's preparation. And my example I want to use is, like, my goal was to get Summerfest kicked off this week, because the importance of Summerfest to me is making sure that I'm adding something positive to our city. And when I hear so many people on the news that really got needs, everything from concern about safety where they live at, to where do I find help with my children, to a job, whatever. There's so many amazing organizations in Tulsa, and that's what Summerfest will be about. So as we go to the throne in prayer, I just want to lift up every individual out there that might be discouraged about a project they're working on, or a job they're looking for, or some major change that has happened personally to them, I want to encourage you and remember what Joe just said. We are always on God's mind. So right now, let's go to the throne. Heavenly Father, I give you praise and glory for favor. I give you praise and glory for your comfort where the enemy is concerned in this world, and where we're concerned when we find ourselves in places where we feel discouraged, or we feel like, am I going in the right direction? So I just pray that you impart to people that they are going in the direction, and that they will realize that sometimes we can move a little bit too fast, but that's okay, because you're still on the throne and you're still with us. So in Jesus' name I pray, amen. So moving on, Suge's not here today, so I'm going to think on what kind of song I want to sing, see how the Lord leads me. Oh, I know a song the other day that I really wanted to sing, and it was about faith. And I think that's an appropriate song to sing today, because when we need to keep ourselves encouraged, we need to realize that it don't take a lot of faith. It just takes a little faith. So the song it goes, faith, 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 just a little bit of faith. It said, faith, 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 just a little bit of faith. It don't take a whole lot. Just use the little you got. Faith, 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 just a little bit of faith. Faith, all it takes is a little bit of faith. Just a little bit will take you through. Just a little bit will keep you encouraged. Just a little bit. Faith, 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 just a little bit of faith. So I hope that will uplift, strengthen somebody, encourage them, let them know that if they will just stop, take a deep breath, say a little prayer, encourage yourself and say, hey, something might have not went my way this moment or today, but I just need to stop, figure out what happened in that moment, and then move forward. So, Juneteenth, excuse me 1 second. Go get in there, get some microphone.
Is there not any?
So, last night, I went to one of the Juneteenth events. There were quite a few Juneteenth events that went on last night. I didn't make it over to look at the Living Arts, but the Living Arts is still going to be going on the rest of until Monday, and that's over at OSU Tulsa, and they have some down on Guthrie Greens, I believe. And that's going on every day from 1 to 9. And they've also got quite a few other projects going. Let me expect. Oh, you know what, guys? I didn't bring that out with me. I sure didn't. But anyway, I went to the comedy show. And I just want to tell you, over at the Jazz Hall of Fame, it was set up so beautifully. I really, really enjoyed it. And it was so funny because me and Shug, we went together to the comedy show. And it's been a while since I've been there, and I forgot that sometimes they will heckle you from the stage. But Shug was not a good person to heckle. I promise to God, I was so happy that Shug was there, guys, because I laughed more from Shug giving competition back to the comedians that was performing last night. I really wish they would have called her up on stage, because she did such a good job until the young man that was emceeing, which he was a dynamic comedian, he told her, he said, if you keep on, he said, I'm going to have to call you to the stage. Well, all the people in the audience really had a great time. And they told my co-host that they had a great time because she was there. But it was just amazing. Everything was staged beautifully. They had about 14 comedians from all races. It was just really awesome. It's really something that I know that I would enjoy doing again. But I'm just encouraging everybody to come out to some of the Juneteenth functions that they're having, because they've really got some nice events. And I really appreciate my daughter helping me out today. So we were going over to go watch the movie last night, and as you all know, there were people probably over there because they did it outside over at Guthrie Greens. But right as we left the comedy show, because we had to leave a little bit early because they're running things simultaneously, which makes it kind of hard to get to everything. But it just started pouring rain. So I guess the rest of that movie got rained out last night, so we didn't get to make the movie. They got quite a bit going on today. I haven't been able to get to a lot of stuff today because I've been kind of still messing with that, getting my festival going, so hopefully I can have it up by next Friday. But then I also want to encourage our teens because I can't help encouraging our teens enough. And the reason I say that is there was a young lady at, I think, how old were they when they started out? 14?
No, it says she was 17.
No, was it 17 when he killed himself?
He was 18 and she's 17.
Well, there was a young lady today that has been convicted. Her name is Michelle. What was her last name?
Carter, I believe.
Oh, Michelle Carter is the young lady's name. I feel very sad for Michelle Carter today because she is only 20, and now she has been sentenced to...
well, she got convicted of involuntary manslaughter.
Yeah, she got convicted of involuntary manslaughter. And it was kind of a simple thing because her and her then boyfriend were teenagers, and teenagers confide in each other. And he had clinical depression from the way I could see it. And she encouraged him to not live that way and to commit suicide. And they did it through text messages. And we're going to lead back to tweeting and texting and social media in the minute because our president has gotten in some trouble using that same medium. But anyway, her own text messages got her convicted because I don't really know how anyone found out how they communicated and she did this, but this is really a warning to our teens because she tweeted to him and to friends that he needed to not live with that indecision thinking and that sadness. And she's not a clinical psychiatrist. And young people, I just want to let you know, when your friends are confiding in you and talking to you about what's going on in their lives, this is all part of the growing up process, and that's why you're called teenagers, or you're called youth, or you're called children. And parents and grandparents and teachers and church pastors and trained personnel need to be brought in, young people. It's okay to have a cup with a friend and, ride, but if it's really getting to a point where you got a friend talking to you about something and they're seeming really depressed, you're not qualified to give that advice. It's okay to give somebody a hug and walk with them to the appropriate person. Because sitting here today, we now have a young lady that is going to jail for 20 years. And she's really getting a break because they really could have given her a life sentence like she gave the boy that she called her boyfriend. And it's a sad, sad day because he's dead and she's going to jail for 20 years. And, I was, reading a little bit on it this morning. And the other sad part, attorneys, we hire them because they're trained, and I get it. And he, I believe, tried to do the very best that he could for the young lady. But instead of her going before a jury, which she might have gotten more time or she might have gotten off, she went with what her attorney decided, and I understand that, so that she could get tried as a juvenile. But that didn't pan out for her. So I want to reiterate to you young people, you are an individual and you have to make the final decision for your life. You cannot allow yourself to be influenced by the group or by the so-called boyfriend or girlfriend. You have to really think about it. And I really think the reason why this young lady is facing murder charge, involuntary manslaughter today, is because one of the text messages that she sent to this young man, when he said he was overthinking the decision to die, she pushed him in one of those texts, and she said to him to stop being a cop-out. You know, one of the words I really hate, and I hear young people use it, and when I hear them say it, I really ask them what the heck do they think that means, and that's called being a snitch. And you know, I tell young people, anytime people use those kind of choice words, you need to really reevaluate, what are they trying to say to me, and who are they to put a label on you and tell you what you're doing. They're the same age you are, and you know, it's just their opinion, and that don't make their opinion correct. I'm looking at him, y'all. I'm driving on the freeway, and I've got a diesel behind me being inconsiderate. So moving on from that, I'm still going to stay, young people, in that social media vein, and I'm going to tell you to take a look at our president. You know, social media has its good points, and social media has its bad points. And one of the bad points that social media has is that it is, whether you realize it or not, it is a record. Texting, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, this stuff is there. It's a record. It's a written down record that other people can capture and keep. And I can give you some local examples of other people who are now in prison because people caught them with this video. Young people, be aware when you're writing on this video. You know, there's kids in jail right now, you know, kids out in the field fighting. Well, thank God that they did videotape it so the police could get out there. But this stuff is like legal records that stay there, and they mark your life. They change your life forever. Our president of the United States right now is now under criminal investigation. Why? Because of Twitter. He has said some things on Twitter that before he wasn't being investigated, but now he is being investigated because he put some things out there and he really didn't understand, you know, what he was saying. And these very things are now being used against him. And then he's still on Twitter. I have to tell you this because I make my share of mistakes, trust me. Guys, these social media things they're wonderful tools. They really, truly are. And, you know, they just put us in a technology age that's wonderful. But you have to use wisdom. You have to think about what you're doing. And also, think before you write, and don't be in such a hurry to do something. So I want to say that to our young people. And I also want to say that being a leader is important. And you have to take what you do responsibly, because you will be held accountable for your actions. And believe me, I know that lesson well, because I was in a hurry to get the Summerfest started, and I've got too many irons in the fire, and I had to roll some things back. So guys, I can admit when I'm wrong, and I do that because I want you young people to be successful. That's important. You know, that's one thing, those of us out there that do things and we're in the limelight, you know, we need to make sure of how we present ourselves because other people are watching. And I want to say that. And as we see our country go through this turmoil, I want to encourage you young people also to be patient, because we had the shooting at our officials on Wednesday because people are really frustrated. Because what people that take leadership roles do, it affects us, you know, and we are entrusting our lives to them. But you have to think, because when you make a decision and you make a choice, young person, you have to live by what you do. So moving on from that, I don't want to be on a soapbox, guys. I mean, I want you to learn and I want you to grow, but I want you to be safe, and I want you to know that life is fun. Well, I missed my exit, but so now I'm going to have to go back in a big circle. Okay, so I'm hoping that people are going to go out here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and partake of this celebration, this commemoration of Juneteenth, because this is all about us learning a little bit more about our culture, about us having an opportunity to get out and spend time with one another and just have a great time doing that. I'll tell you what, guys, it's hard to do this show and drive this car, but I'm hanging in there. Somebody just gave me a message. Let me see what this message is.
You don't need to be doing that.
Okay, see what this message is for me now.
You make random decisions such as encouraging someone to commit suicide, you get what you deserve.
Well, I had somebody that made a comment. We all are our own thinkers. But anyway, like I was saying, so moving forward, guys, I want to tell everybody we've got some amazing things at our public library. I just cannot get over all of the amazing things. They have a software, catalog at that library, any kind of software you can imagine. I've been down there lately, kind of just going through the catalog. They've got, I remember when I did Photoshop and Dreamweaver, those are things that you use to build websites with. It costs a fortune. And I just want to let everybody here in Tulsa know, I'm not sure what it's like, in some of the other areas, but if you're trying to get a business up and running, they've got entrepreneur classes online, they've got web building, programming, gosh, I'm telling you, you think of it, they're doing it. So if you're interested in getting a business going, I highly encourage you to go down, get a free library card, talk to some of the librarians, ask them about, they've got something called lindy.com, and then they've got something called Tulsa Library classes or something like that. And I'm literally telling you, you can take anything, and it is absolutely free. And I just think that's amazing. And so I really wanted to make sure that you young people learn about that. Now, something else that I want to talk about today on Roundtable Friday is organizations that are working together to improve the city. Saturday, there's going to be a walk, and it's going to start down at the YMCA. There is a group that is doing a walk related to the most recent police murder in the black community. And they titled the walk, White People Cannot Remain Silent. And it's going to be over starting, I think, around 11 o'clock over at the YMCA on North Lewis. And I wanted to kind of inform you guys and let you guys know about that, because this is what I'm saying about the Tulsa community, how resilient they are. They continue to pull together to do things to make a difference in the city. And anyone that has the time, that would like to go out and that would like to walk with that group, that would be great, because I know that when you have groups like that, besides walking, they usually go back and congregate together, and they usually do workshops so that they can kind of get to know people and see how they can work together and come into communities to make sure that these things don't happen. I know for a few moments I got pretty worked up about the whole scenario. There was a couple of things that happened, like I found out that the young Barron's family had been working as normal, not only this particular month, but for many years with Barron and the Mental Health Association, and had taken all the proper steps, and the break in the chain had came because the police department, who basically has the contract to go and pick up mentally ill individuals and take them to treatment, not to jail, but take them to treatment at behavioral health, so to keep them safe, to keep the community safe, and be treated. Well, there was a break in the chain, and so we have a community organization that is working to get with the proper leadership in our city to try to fix these kind of situations. But the downturn to it is, now we have another murder in our city of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Now, instead of having one person on trial, we're going to have 3 people on trial. And now we have to go through this whole process again of trying to find out how we resolve this, and it makes sense. Because we got a young, mentally ill young man dead. We have a family that went through the proper channels that they were supposed to go through. We have a police department that did not follow through on their end with, picking the young man up and getting him into treatment. And then we have deadly force used when we still had, other things that we could have used. So, we're sitting in mourning. We're sitting, again, looking for answers to something that's becoming a regular, thorn in our flesh. We can't seem to get over one situation, and then we're back dealing with the situation again. So, my hope is that these meetings, besides these court trials that are going to have to go on, I'm wanting to see meetings, sit-down meetings with leadership that's been publicized about how we address everything. The detention orders. Who's following up on the detention orders? When we go to court and we get an order, I think we've got things that normally, by normal process, we wouldn't have to watch them so closely. But now when we get a detention order, I think we're going to have to make sure that people are following these detention orders correctly, that we're logging these detention orders, even right down to following up on the treatment that they receive once they get there. Another big problem that came out of this time again is we're trying to get transparency with using the devices, the body cams, the dash cams, the films that's in the store. It's almost right down to almost having some kind of apparatus come into play where we black box everything. But I'm saying all that to say this. We're writing down strategic plans. We have intelligent leadership on every side. And the meetings are going to start happening. People are being amicable. The leadership is taking responsibility, because this is why we have leadership. And they're making plans that's going to be instituted. We've got to make things right with families. I know money is not a solution that brings a person back, but I really think that we're going to have to start paying these families, and we shouldn't have to force these families to have to go back to court to be paid for the loss of a loved one. We've got a lot to work on, guys. It's summer. We just can't allow things to keep happening. Not north side, east side, west side. We just all got to work together we just all need each other. I know when we were doing the walk for Young Baron the other night, I just thought it was so beautiful how other people came around the family and walked with them in support and solidarity. There was this amazing group that came out, and they played on their drums. They walked alongside the music. The music they played was so beautiful and so soothing, and that's what we have to do to get stuff resolved, guys. We got to stick together. I want to also mention something about our leaders on Capitol Hill. They played the baseball game yesterday, and the Republicans and the Democrats, they all got together. They prayed. They all took time off from all the negativity that was going on. Excuse me just a moment. Somebody just sent me a message. Oh, they all got together on Capitol Hill, even though they got issues like we got, the president and all the stuff, the insurance, the travel ban, and they put it to the side. What I liked about that was this. We have to put everything in right perspective. Right perspective make things work. We took the time out to walk with this family because this family needed to have us love them and let them know that they're not alone, that people love them, people care, and that people are pulling together that much more to help them make this right. And that's my whole purpose for Summerfest, people, because we've got to find out what organizations are out here. So when these devastating things happen in our city, people know where to go. And the other thing that I want to talk about with that gathering, that baseball game, they raised over $1 million. You know, we've got to get this way in our community, guys, because it was a fundraiser anyway, but because of the tragedy, it made people remember how important we are to each other. And the thing about that was this. The thing about that is this. We need money in this community. And we're going to have to come together and have some type of event as a community, just like the Republicans and the Democrats done. And then the community's going to have to come out and support it. Because the money that they're raising on Capitol Hill will be used to give to the various organizations that have trouble raising funds. And this is what we're going to have to do in our communities. A lot of people are out there to fundraise because it takes money to move things forward. And if people will come together and, you know, you might not be able to give $100. $10 might be all you can give. Those people came out, they brought tickets, they brought whatever else they did to raise money. People that could write big checks wrote checks and sent it in. And all that money that came in from that gathering was, it's going to be divided up and given back out to the various organizations. Each and every one of those people had an organization they already were dedicated to, picked other organizations that they knew are out in the city working. And that's what's going to have to happen in Tulsa. Some of the concerns I really heard when I was at the Northside meeting, and I got to get back and talk about racism stink, because I really want people to understand the power of knowing what's in your community. There was a young lady that said she had a job and she was working in this job with youth. And the disparity that she saw that made her realize, yes, I'm in the right profession, but no, I'm not utilizing my talents in the right area. She wasn't against anybody, but she knew that the disparity in her community with her people, which it's good and it's right culturally to help focus on your people, because that's a moral obligation. That's how I see it. Yes, we all live together. Yes, we all work together. Yes, we all do things together with each other. Just like the walk that's going to happen tomorrow over on South of Lewis. They're giving back. That's called giving back. But this young lady made the point, and I was so pleased with her because she's one of our young, up-and-coming young future black leaders. The disparity that she saw was that we have other cultures trying to tend to our young African-American children, and they don't understand our culture. Yes, it's great. It's wonderful that they're taking the time to tender our young black African-American children. We appreciate that. But she was just so phenomenal in her understanding of reaching out and working with our young people. I commend her, I admire her, and I appreciate her. Because, listen, she left a job to go out on her own, to start an organization. And this is why I'm telling you that when I get an opportunity to really finish getting everything together for these organizations, we've got to support them. We've got to come out because they're there for you. This young lady has a lot to offer. She understands how to communicate effectively. And that is a lot of the problem that has to get resolved. Communication. Communication is key to getting successful solutions. Anger is a waste of time. Being angry is just a waste of time. And you know what I mean by that is this. I've seen so many of our young people in leadership now that saw what Dr. Martin Luther King struggled with, in his day, which was inequality. This week in Tulsa, Oklahoma, this commemoration of Juneteenth made us a free people. As a free people, we became responsible for our own futures. We had founding lineage in Tulsa, Oklahoma in 1910 who took that very serious. And in taking that very serious, they started what was first called the Negro Wall Street. And now today is known as Black Wall Street. And they started an amazing lineage. And in the start of that amazing lineage, it was interrupted. But people did not give up with that interruption. People began to build again. I now see the emergence of an amazing group of young people that have been taught and trained well, that have went out and educated themselves, that are now coming together. I've had the pleasure myself of working with some on campaigns, some just out in the streets, some out doing boards, learning how to be on boards. I've had that great fortune, and I tell you, we've got an amazing group of young people here in Tulsa, Oklahoma on the rise that understand how to do things, how to plan things, how to put things together. So I want to encourage everybody with that. We have what we need on the ground to get an action plan that will be positive in our city and in our communities. So that being said, I continue to encourage everybody to go out when people tell you that there's meetings, to if you can't go to the meetings, support them with your financial dollars. Support them by sharing their projects, sharing their events with other people that wouldn't know about them, that need the services, and just not isolating and feeling like you're alone. Anything worth doing, I would tell you, is always a struggle. When people have been hurt, the signs that you'll see from people that have been hurt is that they want to talk louder. They want to make sure that no one is getting in their space or pushing them around. But we just got to keep being prayerful for each other, everybody, and patient, and trusting God to help us to not give up. I talked to somebody that has worked a long time in the trenches, and that individual was sharing with me some of his frustrations, and I know he's not going to go away. I mean, we all, I'm done and we'll go home and go to sleep, but when it's in you to be a servant out there, you're not going to give up. It's just in you. So that said, we just have to continue to stay focused. One of the greatest things when I was growing up that I want to share in this Roundtable Friday is that I did live in an era and a time of community policing. And not only that, I also lived in a time where this ideology or slogan or whatever you want to call it that people try to push about it takes a village. We didn't call it "it takes a village" in my day. We just called it being a good neighbor. And we're going to have to go back to those principles because that is part of the Black culture. And that is something that will be taught from our families and from our culture. These were the things that we learned from our parents' need. That young people had a place, and that place was listening, being obedient, and doing what you were told to do. And everybody helped when I grew up. My parents could go to the grocery store because they could go out the door, tell any neighbor on any side of the road, which all knew our names, which all knew us, which had no fear of coming over to the house, speaking with us. If one of us got hurt and our parents hadn't got in from work, I knew that I could go across the street to the Dotsons, and I could say, tell the Dotsons whatever, and Mr. and Mrs. Dotson would come and do the same for me as my parents. Now, that's something I want to share as a Black person, because I literally, in my lifetime, experienced that. And that's serious business. That's as serious as it get, guys. My neighbors, we wouldn't even have to be in the neighborhood. If they saw me out in the community, and on a good side, if I needed a ride, if they were close to me, I was at the movies and I might look like I needed some popcorn or something, they would go right in their pocket and get me what I needed. No questions asked, not because they needed my parents to pay them back. It was just the way it was back then. And I've said and I've listened to people talk about what community policing was like. I can share for me, when I was a child growing up, the policeman that walked with a billy club in his hand, well, it wasn't in his hand, it was really, the baton was actually stuck in a loop around his belt. And I don't ever really remember seeing a gun. Now, he might have had one, I was so young, but I know he had that baton. So he literally lived down the street from my family's house. And, time I would get up to start off to school, his beat would start. And he would literally walk up the road the same time us kids were walking down the road to go to school. And he would walk that beat all the way through, stop talking to neighbors, stop talking to the crossing guard, up at the school. I mean, he was so visible. Policemen to us didn't feel threatening because we literally saw them all the time. We literally talked to Officer Johnson. He talked to us. He knew our names. He knew our parents. He knew our grandparents. He knew our addresses. He knew where we lived. Just like I'm talking to you, he could talk to us. And we responded. We had a respect. You know, our ministers, I mean, it didn't matter who it was, our crossing guard, I mean, they could just talk to us and say, hey, kids, blah, blah, blah. Now, I'm not telling you that negative things didn't go on in the community. Sure they did, but I tell you what, it was nothing like it is today when all that kind of stuff went away. And I'm not really sure why people stopped letting that happen. But this man didn't drive a car. This man walked all over the neighborhood, everywhere. We saw our policemen everywhere that were in our neighborhood, that were our policemen in our area. That's how it was done back then. You didn't feel uncomfortable if a policeman sat down next to you at the soda shop because they were just regular people. So I know community policing is a very good idea because, one, the police knows everything that's going on. And I can remember, you know, you always got to have some kids in your neighborhood that, I won't use no names, that like to fight, throw rocks, just be a menace to society. So, I mean, if you want to put it that way. And, you know, the unique thing, I can remember those kind of boys that were like that, you know, it was nothing for Officer Johnson to gather the boys up to see Officer Johnson having a group of boys that he's standing in, you know, talking with those boys about their conduct and their behavior. And then, you know, going to their parents' house and having a conversation with their parents. It was no problem. Of course, they were themselves, naturally. But, you know, people worked it out. And I can remember also some of the larger families. I remember, and I thought this was good, how if their families were really large, even though their fathers worked, because back then mothers didn't really work. And that's another thing that has planned. And we can't be successful. And what the leaders say, because everybody's got a piece of the puzzle. And everybody's piece of the puzzle is really, truly needed. So I'm encouraging everybody, get a Pepsi, get your black walnut ice cream, get a good nap, go see a great movie, whatever you need to do to renew your mind and come out and be part of the big thing. You're welcome. Trust me. I've been at 2 amazing community meetings recently, and I have to tell you, everybody's ideals were being implemented. Everybody's ideals are needed. And everybody is truly welcome. So I'm just wanting to say that to you guys. And doing this holiday of Juneteenth all around the world to all of the African Americans, I just want to say to each and every one of you, I'm happy for all of us that we have an opportunity to do who we are, to be what we want to be, to go where we want to go, to live where we want to live, and just be part of the process. You can't let other people discourage you because you have to live for you. And you have to, if you give respect, you'll get respect back. And, you know, the people that don't respect their self, I think my pastor said it better than all. And I tell you, I really appreciate my pastor, Paul Daugherty, because Paul Daugherty said I was getting really frustrated with everything that was going on in Washington, D.C. And my pastor, a couple of Sundays ago, he was just doing a normal sermon. He's so amazing, like everybody else's pastors are, I'm sure. And just in his normal sermon, didn't try to pull that out, wasn't throwing anything at anybody. He said, listen, a leader, and many of you have heard me say this, a leader that takes the instructions of God is a wise leader. He will expand and he will grow. But a leader that follows his own ways will self-destruct. Guys, that's what it is in a community. Our community can't think that they're all right. Yes, we've been done wrong in Tulsa, but so many other communities have too. we have to still work within the boundaries. We have to still keep striving forward. And forward is the success key. That's the key word, forward. So guys, let's keep positive flowing. This is, what we want our kids to do. So we have to remain positive if we want to get where we're going. Those of you that can come out to the Juneteenth things in Tulsa, wow, so many. Today is the 16th, so I do want to remind our young people out at the North Mabee Center, starting at 5 o'clock, the football clinic is going on. Parents, Tulsa, Oklahoma, surrounding areas, we've got some real big NFL players that's going to be out there. So I want you guys to get out there and get the kids out there. Lacey Pool is open. We've got quite a few pools open. You can go to cityofTulsa.org to see all the splash ponds and pools that's open. Guthrie Greens is showing movies all week. Tulsa County Library has so many amazing things going on all week. Guys, there's just so much going on in this city, and it's free. Free. Let's make sure we find things for our teenagers to do. And I have to keep stressing this. If there's anybody out there that can start a driver's ed course for free, or if an organization can come together, let's try to get our young people in driver's ed. Because, guys, kids, stop stealing cars. I'll say this on the show constantly. You're going to go to jail if you steal a car. And I also want to remind our young people in the city of Tulsa, we have a curfew, young people. And if you get picked up on a curfew the first time, they'll let your parents come and get you. The next time, it's a ticket. The third time, you're going to start going to juvie. And kids, you don't want to get in the system. That's what the LaDre Project is about. And I'll tell you, I got my hands in 900 things. I'm working as hard as I can to get things up and running too. But parents, I commend you, because people always want to throw rocks at you. I walk with so many amazing parents in that walk that have lost children to murder, unnecessary murder. Kids, a handgun will kill you and you will be dead. It is not something that should be in your hands. Okay? That's important. So before I get out of here, because my time is about to wind up for today, Town Talk, I'll be back on Monday from 12 to 1. I want you guys to continue to join me. I appreciate each and every person out there. My website is www.ttowntalk.com. I'm trying to update stuff every day on it, for you, to let you know what's going on in the city. Guys, be safe. Go out, have some fun all around the world. All my African-American brothers and sisters. Enjoy this Juneteenth. Remember, Juneteenth is all about our freedom. It happened in 1865, and here we are, 2007. Don't look at the bad, look at the good. Keep trusting in God. Keep pushing ahead. Keep knowing that Jesus is on the throne. We can get through anything together and with respect. So I'm getting ready to get out of here. I miss Shug. She'll be back with me on Monday. And as you know how me and Shug always do it, everybody, I'm going to give you guys some hugs, because everybody deserves to know that they're appreciated and loved. And I'm going to give y'all some kisses, because I know that everybody is wonderful out there and you're sweet. Guys, pass this video on to whomever that might need to be blessed or whatever. And guys, have a safe, blessed, happy, and do something fun. Treat yourself this weekend and have a great time. Thank you all for watching. See you soon. I've enjoyed your company. See you on Monday. As I always say, this is LA. This is Town Talk. This is the voice of Main Street. Go out tomorrow to that march, Tulsa, Oklahoma, over on Lewis and 19th Street. I'll see you guys tomorrow somewhere out here. Bye now.